Ebullient greetings. I'm your host, Jacquie Bird of Jacquie Bird Spiritual Wellness, your guide to stress and anxiety relief, mindfulness, awareness, self-care, self-love, and personal growth. Welcome and thank you for joining me as we roll with peace in mind. Hey folks, want to remind you to be sure to pick up your copy of my book, 28 Daily Thoughts and Mantras for Mindfulness, Keys for Stress Relief and Personal Growth. That is my book. It is at my website only, JacquieBirdSpiritualWellness.com. Today's riff is, what is this thing called aging and why do we freak out about it? Seriously, what is this thing called aging and why do we freak out about it? I mean, if you're one of the folks that does freak out about aging, you certainly have your reasons why. The idea makes you start to hyperventilate. But I mean, really though, as I spend more time on the planet, I've been thinking a lot about this thing called aging. And not because I freak out about it, but because I find it rather fascinating on how much folks do freak out about it. It is inevitable. Why not make friends with it? And I'm going to call out somebody who is very near and dear to me. When he turned 25, he was freaking out like he was turning 125. I mean, I'm like, dude, you know how old I am, don't you? Why are you sweating experiencing another year right in front of me? You don't see me sweating every year. And I found it both humorous and a bit alarming. If he's freaking out now, oh my God, how will he freak out? How much more will he freak out when 30 approaches? And I know when he listens to this, he's going to be like, I'm really going to freak the out. No. I mean, but he might just explode and disappear. That's how crazed he gets. And I mean, what the heck? Check this out. Going bonkers over your age actually adds emotionally to any possible physical deterioration you are freaking out about. You get my drift? You bring about or accelerate the things that you fear. So yes, you are getting older. It's happening. Why not make peace with it? How you think about aging is what you really, really want to look at. What does it mean? Okay, you may think your mindset, it's rushing moment to moment closer to the great beyond. I have friends that are older than me, and that is on their mind, that their mortality is quickly approaching. And worry not, you will get there. But how about being present in the now? You're alive now. None of us knows how much time we have on this planet. So why not make it the best moment to moment that you can? And I'm going to tell you something. Chala, I'm not aging. I'm just gaining more years on the planet. I'm too busy becoming who I am and having fun doing it. Sure, things change. Our bodies change. Shit happens, yada, yada. But my job is to take care of my temple to the best of my ability. Appreciate it. Honor it. Be grateful for it. And to live my best life in it. That is my job. And I know that every moment that I criticize myself, you're gonna gain some weight, girl, or whatever the other things I say. Ooh, child, and bags on your eyes. That is not productive. That's counterproductive to my cause. And I've seen it in action. I have watched people actually add to their age and speed up the process based on how they view it. What we think creates. Remember that. What we think creates. The question is, what do you wish to create? I watched my stepmom disintegrate as the years went by, in part to how she viewed the aspect of living. When she hit 68, she started calling herself an old lady. Now, granted, she's from an era that you were old when you were 50. But I'm thinking you have the right to pick another viewpoint. You don't have to stick to that. But when she hit 68, man, she was an old lady. And she, in her mind, but physically she was strong, vital, and energetic. But the more she claimed being old, the more she helped to create that aspect in her physical body. Proclaiming to be an old lady, she expected to get sick, to become decrepit and disabled. And she did just that. What we think creates, people. What we think creates. She said she was old, and she just went downhill rapidly. It was really an eye-opening thing to witness and to experience, because I was her main person. And no matter how much I tried to get her to see things a little differently, she was convinced that this was the way to go. And that is the way she went. You know, I watched this strong, vibrant woman begin to break down, all the while holding on to that old lady status. So much of our fear of the aging process is because we view it as one more step towards death. We start worrying about our mortality, as I said earlier, as soon as we start bemoaning each birthday. In the 80s, I was a young pup pursuing my career. Then the AIDS epidemic hit. In my photo albums, there are so many young men I danced with who didn't make it to their 30s. Some never even made it to 25, let alone 20. My wonderful dance partners, virile one day, emaciated the next, and then gone in the blink of an eye. Be grateful for every moment. Do not spend any time bemoaning the approach of another year. Spend more time living, being engaged in your life, not worrying about your mortality or getting ill and feeble. Ask yourself, what is the quality of life that I want to live? And I'm not talking about, I want to be rich and I want to have a mansion, I want to have 40 cars and I'm going to collect. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the quality, not the crap you want to have. I'm talking about the quality of life that you want to live. That's different. As time goes by, I'm even more reminded of how important it is to ask this question: what is the quality of life that I want to live, to experience? When we're young adults, most of our focus is on education. Once out of school, we need a job. We are also wanting to find or meet that special someone. And during that time period, we are focused on career and on our new families. Quality of life is not something we talk about or consider. Our focus is on getting ahead in the career, making as much money as possible, buying that house and or car, having and raising children. That's where our thoughts are at that time period. And in the midst of all the activity, all the running back and forth to achieve goals, all the while underneath, there is a foreboding with each birthday. And I ain't talking about all of us. I'm talking about those of us that grind the birthday thing, getting older. And while some of us scream from the rafters, and I'm one of those, it's my birthday! Some of us would rather not speak of it. It is the life experience that shall not be named. Do you know there are some folks that I have known for eons, and I mean eons, and I still don't know their ages? And what's hilarious is some of them are younger than me. Oh, but I do have a pretty good idea how old they are, though. What are the things I wish to acquire and achieve is a different ask than what is the quality of life I want to have and live. The latter is a much deeper convo with self to self. And though the details may change and get altered with time and growth, after a while you may realize that it's so much simpler than you once believed. There's a lot of folks that got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of money, got a lot of cars, houses, blah, 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 and they're miserable. How many times have we witnessed young people who have gotten fame and stardom and ended up taking their lives? Sometimes accidentally through prescription drugs because there's physical pain and emotional pain that they're trying to dampen. Be alive in your life. Feel, because when you feel, you can change things. You have the power to change things. And I don't care how low you are right now in your life, because that has a lot to do with everything, right? When we're low and we're down, a lot of times we can't see what possibilities lie ahead of being in the ditch. But if you look past the ditch, if you say, I know that this ditch is temporary and that there is life beyond this ditch that I'm going to be enjoying, and that's my intention, that's a whole different mindset than being in the ditch and going, woe is me. Trust me, I've done that. And all it does is create more woe is me and more problems. And people, again, this thought of freaking out about aging is all part and parcel of thinking of all the negative things that could possibly happen in life. Yes, stuff happens. Yes, some bad things happen. But there are also some wonderful things that happen. And if you put your focus in that direction, you will have a life that is more fulfilled than not. And I'm telling you that from experience. I'm telling you that from my experience. When my uncle he was in his early 70s when he passed on. And I didn't know that he was ill. He didn't tell any of us that he had an illness. And I remember one day talking to him. Matter of fact, it was the last time we spoke. And he told me that life was awful. It's awful. And I remember thinking, because at that time I was, I guess, in my 30s. And I'm looking to him. He's older. I'm looking to him for wisdom. And he's telling me that life is awful. And I remembered thinking in that moment, oh my God, is that all you have to tell me? You're almost twice my age. And that's what you have. That's the sum total of what you have to say to me. Now, of course, once he passed away and I realized, he had been ill, I said, okay, I can understand why he would say that to me. But it was still very depressing. Now, on the other hand, I had an aunt that was in her 80s. And I know I've said this in a previous episode. Her advice to me was to enjoy my life. Enjoy your life, Jacquie. Enjoy your life. This is what she said to me. That's what I hold on to. That's what I project in my life. And if you can look past freaking out about your age, if you can look toward the positive aspects that could be in your life, the answers become clearer. The answers to questions and problems can get clearer. I realize now that what I want out of life, and this is my thing that I'm saying, what I want out of life is joy, alignment with well-being, that's good health, alignment with abundance, prosperity, love, peace, and ease. The ways in which to receive, achieve, and experience these essences are unlimited. The allowing of all this is through centering, grounding, clear intention, listening to our gut, breathing, practicing gratitude, being kind to yourself and to others, and expecting the best. That's how you live a life that is full of more ups than downs. I've spoken about this in previous episodes, I had a rough coming up. My childhood was rough. And I remembered I couldn't wait to be an adult because I thought I'd do a better job than the adults in the equation. And then, of course, I had my own pitfalls and ditches that I fell into as an adult. And what I find interesting about this thing called aging, I work with, as some of you may know, I'm also a choreographer, and I work with hundreds and hundreds of young people ages 8 to 18. And I'm working with a group of young people, and they're about 10 and 11. And they're a choir. They're not dancers, but I make them look like they're dancers. But anyway, they're working on this song, and I'm asking them for the acting aspect of the song. Like, what does this song mean? What are you trying to convey to the audience? And the song had to do with From Matilda, When I Grow Up. And I'm saying, each thing is a thought. It's a new, exciting thought. So your faces, your expression should reflect that. So I said, aren't you guys looking forward to growing up? And a bunch of them said, no. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you're 10 and 11. I couldn't wait to grow up. They were like, no, I don't want to be an adult. I don't want to have all that responsibility. No. I mean, they were appalled at my question. They really couldn't believe that I asked them. Now, when it calmed down, because it was quite a ruckus, once everything calmed down and I said, okay, by a show of hands, how many of you, and it was a group of about 30 to 40 kids, I said, how many of you are looking forward to growing up and being an adult? And by that point, after what I had to say to them, I'd say about 3/4 of them raised their hands. And the other quarter kind of reluctantly had their hand up. But I'm thinking, good gosh, if at 10 and 11, you are already fearful of time going and aging, whoo, boy. All I can say is wisdom is gained through experience and awareness. And here's a little ditty I wrote. It may or may not rhyme. I may or may not get the rhythm right. But here we go. And this is basically an overview of my life. When I hit 20, I couldn't conceive of being 30. When I hit 30, I almost died of my worry. When I hit 40, I began to breathe. When I hit 50, I was floating free, though I was still looking to see who I be. When I hit 60, I began to hum. You're a long way, dear, from whence you've come. And now at 66, the queen has arrived, comfortable and grateful in her shine. My wish for you, the listener, is that you become comfortable and grateful in your shine now. Not 40 years from now, not 50 years from now, but that you look and expect the best in your life, no matter where you are right now in life. Know that it is temporary. Know that you have the power to change, and it starts with your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found useful information in this episode. Be sure to tell your friends, your family, your frenemies about this podcast. Subscribe so that you get the next episode when it drops. Visit my website to pick up your copy of 28 Daily Thoughts and Mantras for Mindfulness, Keys for Stress Relief and Personal Growth, my wellness guide. I also offer Stress Busters guided meditation, private, group, virtual, or in-person guided meditation sessions. I also create custom guided meditation audio tracks. So if you need something specific, hit me up. I can create that for you. SoundSoulVibin music for sleep, relaxation, yoga, meditation. That's also on my website, JacquieBirdSpiritualWellness.com. The transcript to this episode is on my blog, and the link is in the show's description. And remember to roll with peace in mind.